everyone, Kimberly and Brad here from Midlife Crazy. Today we're going to bring you the things you must do before you cruise. Right here in Southern California in our backyard.
Yeah, we thought we'd change it up a little bit today. It's a beautiful day outside today. A little bit warm, not compared to our friends on the East Coast, but
stay cool out over there.
yeah, we have a daughter in New York, so hopefully she's keeping the grandbaby cool.
I'm sure she is.
Yeah, that's right. So like you said, 10 things today, and then we'll do another video shortly, probably in the next couple days, where we'll give you the next 10 things, and these are things you must do before you cruise.
So it sounds like we got 20 total things to do.
We do.
Oh,
20
well, that
total
you
things
must do.
to do.
What we think you must do.
Right, these are things that we do on a consistent basis, and we find that it absolutely makes things much more efficient for us when we actually go to get on the cruise ship.
Absolutely. So why don't you start with number one?
So the first thing that you must do before you get on a ship, book a cruise. How
That's
about that?
the easy part. Whether you use a travel agent or you go direct through the cruise line or you use an online source like Expedia, just get your cruise booked. But
Yeah.
be on the lookout for those savings if you
Yeah,
can.
absolutely. So there's a saying that us avid cruisers use, and it's always be booked.
Yes.
So right now we're booked for how many?
5 cruises.
So we've got 5 booked right now. And face it gives you something to look forward to. Right?
Yes.
Most of the apps now that you use with the cruise lines, or another app that we'll talk about later, you can do a little cruise countdown.
Exactly.
So it's exciting to watch the days count down. So
also, if you have to put in for vacation, it gives you the opportunity to put in those vacations much earlier so you're the first one to it. So
exactly, I put my vacations in like a year and a half ahead of time.
exactly.
So I always know that I'm guaranteed to go.
Exactly.
So, anyway, the next thing, and excuse me, I'm looking at the cheat sheet.
We have to.
We have to. The next thing is, before you go on your cruise, jump onto YouTube and watch some of those cruise videos from, from the cruise vloggers like ourselves, if you'd like, preferably. But there's so many great creators out there, from Pero DJ and Griffin Alyssa, Sharon at Sea, Lalita Loca. There's lots of them that are out there. If I left anybody out.
Life with Favor.
Life with Favor, exactly. So if I left anybody out, I apologize, but there's so many great creators that are doing cruise videos right now. Jump on and check it out, because again, that just builds the excitement. You know, what I always do is I always go and check, if I know we're going on a new ship,
Yes.
I go and I check out, YouTube videos of
Yeah.
the ship. So it's really cool to do that, and it gives you a little idea of what you can look forward to on the ship. So
What's number 3, honey?
number 3 is join a cruising community on Facebook.
Yes, each cruise has, or more times than not, each cruise has its own Facebook, right?
Yes, so more times than not, there's a Facebook page that gets created associated with your specific cruise. Not just your
Exactly.
cruise ship, not just your cruise line, but your specific ship and sailing date.
Dates, right.
And so it gives you a chance to kind of communicate with some of your fellow cruisers in advance, as well as join a community like the Midlife Crazy cruise community, or any of the I won't say any, but most of the other cruise communities have Facebook pages too. The ones I previously mentioned all have Facebook communities, and again, it lets you kind of connect with fellow cruisers and
Get to know him.
Right, share experiences. So
Let me do number 4, because I can read it.
oh, she can. Oh, no glasses. She can read it. There you go.
Prepay, reserve, and plan as much as possible before your cruise. It just makes your cruise so much smoother. You don't have to go stand in line at the excursion desk or customer service. Brad and I make a habit. We don't do it all at once. Sometimes we'll pay the cruise, and then a couple weeks later we'll go in and we'll decide if we're going to do dining or what our excursions will be. So do as much of that as possible before you leave for your cruise.
Yeah, exactly, because there's nobody wants to go on vacation and stand and wait in a line, to book excursions or dinner reservations. Or now, on some of the ship companies, they also require to have reservations for the shows.
And specialty dining. So the sooner you book, the sooner for sure that you're going to have a space.
Yeah, so that way you guarantee that you get a spot by
Yes.
booking in advance.
Exactly.
So number 5, have a checkup or a physical before you go.
Yep, we do this.
Yeah, so, because the fact is that, if you've got something going on, it would be much better to find out before you go than to actually come down with some ailment on the ship, because quite honestly, obviously there are doctors on the ship, but if it's something major,
Yes.
they have no way of really treating you on the ship. And unfortunately, I've been on several ships where people have had to be medevaced off of ships.
Yeah, so it's just a precautionary measure. So if you can squeeze it in and go see the doc, go see the doc.
Just a quick checkup just to make sure that everything's running okay.
All right, number 6. This one's really important. Make copies of your passport, credit cards, and medical card. And take your medical card, because if by chance that you have to be evac'd or you're on an excursion and something happens, if you have your medical card, more times than not, your insurance may cover some of the costs that will be associated with that.
Exactly.
These things typically will be kept in your safe in your stateroom or your cabin, but make sure you do that. Also, don't forget, and this is important, bring your FSA cards, because if you have to pay for any services on the ship as far as medical goes, your FSA card should work as well, because it's a medical spending account.
Yeah, exactly, because the fact is more and more ports now are requiring you to have your passports off the ship, so that when you go back onto the ship, you have to present your passport. If you were to lose your passport while you're in port,
you'll have a copy
that's in your safe, and that way at least you can get home. Or if you can't get back to the ship, they would call the ship. The ship could actually go into your safe and pull your copy of your passport out. So
absolutely,
super important that you do that.
Precautionary measures, always.
Absolutely. Next one, number 7, make sure you notify your bank, notify your credit card companies that you are going to be traveling abroad. They'll ask you which countries you're going to, and then they put a travel alert on your account so that when charges show up in the Caribbean or Mexico or wherever you're going, that there's no problem. You don't have to worry about your card being declined.
What we do is we take one credit card and our debit card, and those are the 2 notifications that I make, and that's it. That's all we bring with us.
Right.
So, and cash, of course.
Right.
Number 8, notify your cell phone provider that you'll be traveling. And what's really interesting is my line of work, I have a coworker who is traveling to Australia. So I just did this. There's a thing called the Day Pass, which seems to be the most affordable way. If you have AT&T, that's who we have. So call your cell phone provider. There's other options if you're going to be out of the country to really lower those costs or make sure that you don't incur any large roaming costs. In fact, if you're traveling to Mexico with AT&T, Mexico is considered just the same as if you're in the United States, so there's no addition for Mexico anymore. But call them, let them know you're going to be traveling out of the country. Make sure that your plan is set up to cover any costs, especially roaming costs. And another tip, leave your phone on airplane mode if you're not going to be taking it around with you a lot.
Yeah, if you don't put your phone on airplane mode or turn it off on a cruise ship, the foam The foam will roam. The phone will roam, and you'll end up with a $500. $500
nobody
cell
wants
phone
that.
bill. Nobody wants that.
All right.
So,
Number 9.
Number 9. Speaking about phones, any apps that you're planning on using while you're on the ship, if you're going to get the Wi-Fi package on the ship. So any apps, make sure you download them prior to getting on the ship, because first thing is, some ships have, like Carnival, if you buy their package, it's unlimited use, but some ships have like daily use where you run out of, you only get a certain amount of data to use. And quite honestly, Wi-Fi on ships is generally painfully slow. So it could take a while to download an app, where most of us have Wi-Fi at home. It's a lot quicker to download your apps at home.
Yeah, I find that when I'm on a cruise, the only reason why I carry my phone is because we have the Hub app, and you can text each other through the Hub app. Now, texting each other on the Hub app, I found, is quite slow.
Delayed.
It's delayed.
Sometimes they don't come for like an hour.
Yeah, exactly. So that's no bueno. But yeah, do that before you leave.
Yeah, so download any apps that you're planning on using before you leave.
Number 10, check the State Department website for any travel advisories or in ports that you may be traveling to. In fact, there was something that just happened in Puerto Rico, and that was a current travel advisory. So check the State Department website. Actually do that before you even book your cruise. Just find out what is advised at the moment not to travel to. Generally, I don't know how long they stay in place, the advisories, but I have found they stay in place a pretty long time.
Yeah, they can, just depending on what the, in Puerto Rico, obviously it was some civil unrest with their government. So just last week, our government issued a travel advisory saying, hey, you might want to avoid this area. And then certainly a lot of cruise ships ended up taking Puerto Rico off their itinerary and went to alternate itineraries last week because of the civil unrest. So,
well, yeah, and usually cruise lines will not take you to a port that they feel is unsafe.
Exactly.
But just more information is better than no information.
Right. So it's very quick. What I'll do is I'll put the website in the description below so you can check it out, and then it's also on the screen right now.
Oh, is it?
It
How
is.
Fancy. It's on the screen right now. So that's our 10 must-dos before you cruise.
That's the first 10.
First 10.
So there's going to be another 10. Like I say, it'll probably be in
part two.
Part
two.
in a day or so. So we'll give you 10 more tips, things you must do before you get on a cruise ship. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to the channel. Hit that little bell for notifications. We do have a Facebook community. That's in the description below. We have Instagram. We have Twitter.
Yep.
We have all that stuff. Feel free to, our email address is there. Feel free to reach out to us.
Yep. We love feedback.
We do.
Give us a thumbs up.
Give us a thumbs up.
I'm Kimberly.
I'm Brad.
And we are Midlife Crazy. Bye, everyone.
We'll see you next time.